Hi there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Capital A Trading and welcome to another episode of my Forex Weekly. For those of you who don't know, I'm just going to analyze the charts, go through the best investment opportunities for the week, show you how I'm going to tackle them, bring them to you. So if that sounds good, if you trade, if you take investments, hit that subscribe button in the bottom right corner. Stay up to date with the channel. There's a lot of exciting content coming now and in the early part of next year. With that being said, I just want to say a quick shout out to my sponsors, the Absolutely magazine. Thank you for all your hard work, and I'm looking forward to being on the new edition around Christmas. Thank you very much. For anyone who wants to learn trading, who wants to take this skill further, whether you're an advanced trader who already has a strategy and wants to learn something new, whether you're a total beginner who has no idea of the charts, check out my website, www.capitalatrading.co.uk. There's tons of information on there for beginners and advanced traders, and of course, you can read about my mentorship program if you want to take this skill further. With that being said, we're going to get into the charts. I'm going to check out the news and then bring you some investment opportunities for the week. Let's get into it.
Okay, as always, it's important to check out the financial news, check out the fundamentals for the week, see where there may be some impacts in the charts that you can catch on to. With this week, again, Monday, nothing too much to worry about there. I'm not expecting too much of an impact for the pound. The news is really going to kick off from Tuesday. On Tuesday, there'll be some pound news just before the London Open. I'll be monitoring that to see how that's going to impact it, see if there's going to be a push for the pound. Then it'll be just after the New York session. I'll be watching the US dollar to see if there's going to be any impact there. And then, of course, later that night, there may be something around the Australian dollar. We then move into Wednesday, where things are going to start to pick up. We've got the USD's interest rate decision. I'm expecting a big impact. I'm expecting a big push at that time. And again, it's going to be around 7 o'clock, just a couple hours before the New York session closes. Then we move to Thursday. There's going to be some action packed everywhere. We've got the Australian dollar, the unemployment rate. So I'll be watching that around midnight. Then the next one's going to be the Swiss franc interest rate decision. I'm expecting that to have an impactful move. Again, keep an eye on what I've got for the charts on that one. And then, of course, there'll be the pound's interest rate decision just before the New York Open on that day. So I'm expecting, and euro. So I'm expecting Thursday to be quite explosive, and then there'll be plenty of moves that we can catch on that afternoon. Friday, there's the yen's interest rate decision. That's going to be my main focus for Friday. Other than that, it's really Thursday that's going to be the most impacted day. With that being said, let's get into the charts and see where the moves are. So as always, I'm going to start on gold. Now, recently, there was a move mentioned from the 1870 level inside my Discord, and it's been a very powerful move to the downside. It's just been hovering around this area for a few days now, for the best part of last week. And I do believe that it's aiming to come towards this 1740 level. So if I just get onto the 4 hour now and break down the time frame, break down the areas, I'm going to be watching the 1790 to the 1800 this week. It looks like there's been some institutional play here, where it looks like there's been they've put something here basically on the 1800 level. There's been some interaction. So I'm just going to see what happens, see if there can be a move. And the target, like I said, is just going to be around that 1740 level. So I want to see price just come towards here, struggle, and then make the push to the downside. With that, we can also take a look at the gold euro. Again, another sell that was mentioned from here recently. I do believe this is coming to around the 1520, 1530 mark. And I do believe there's some areas that have been sort of left to watch this week. I'm going to keep an eye on the 1590 to the 1600. I do believe we're going to get a sell push from there. And again, like I mentioned, the target be around that 1520 to the 1530. So keep an eye on them two together. That's going to be the gold USD and the gold euro. Next up is going to be the US30. This was a trade that I mentioned back on the 18th of November, and it had a monstrous push to the downside, as you're about to see from this level. What I do now, just break it down and go onto the 4 hour time frame. We're now coming back to that same area where the trade was mentioned last month. So I just want to see what's going to happen. I want to see it interact in a similar way and just basically start to struggle going higher than my red marked area around the 36,200 to the 36,400. At that point, if it starts to struggle, I'll be looking to take a position, and the sell will be back towards the 3,500 mark, where I can at least see price getting down towards here. So keep an eye on that one this week. Again, the US dollar's interest rate decision. If it's in line with that, if it's sitting in this area around that time, I'll be even more confident in my trade, seeing it push to the downside. So keep an eye on that one. It's going to be the US30. The next up is actually a trade that I'm currently in. I've got a couple positions I'm going to be holding over the weekend. and it's the UK 100. Now, this is what I mentioned this week about there's been some nice sells from this weekly point of interest, and I've been monitoring that 73.50 just to see price struggle, breaking higher, and then of course I'll execute a sell position. So this was the picture that I had. I was watching, ready for the area to see it start struggling so I could take my position. And as you can see, price got to the level, started to struggle, and then it's now made a little progression to the downside, and it looks like a bearish structure may be forming. So I'm just going to keep an eye on that this week, look for price to just retest again, show me that you're still struggling, and I may add another position. Keep an eye on that one. That's the UK 100. Okay, just a quick update on Bitcoin. Again, there's a lot of people that ask me about this, ask me when's the best time to put their money into it. So all I'm going to suggest to you now is that at the moment, I've mentioned that price didn't look too clever around the 66 mark, the 67 level. I did mention a sell a couple of weeks back now. And ever since then, there's this bearish structure been forming. So all I would suggest now is that if anything, it looks like to me, price is going to come towards the 56 level and then continue dropping again. My best bet is to just see what happens in the new year. I do believe there will be a massive push again towards that 60,000 mark at least, but I'm expecting that to be in the middle of January, maybe early February, when the year obviously starts getting back up on its feet again. So that's my advice on that one. Keep an eye on Bitcoin. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, just a quick break. This is for anyone who wants to learn more about trading, take their trading skill further. Head over to my website. That's www.capitalatrading.co.uk. You can head over to the services section and read up about my mentorship program. And there's just a brief little description of what you will learn, what you will go through. And of course, these are a little bullet points of what you will actually go through with me. So how the financial institutions enter the market, that's a key thing to understand. How to create your own trading plan, how to trade your edge over the market, how to place your own trades, very important. Risk management, just protecting your capital, understanding how to do that, how to use TradingView and analyze for the best opportunities. You'll get access to my trading community. That's the Discord, where you can see what I'm doing throughout the week, access to my live trades. There'll be 10 hours of pre-recorded educational videos, all for you to use when you need to. There'll be some mindset training in them videos. And of course, with that, you will get my 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week mentoring support. With that being said, let's get back into the charts. Let's go through the currencies. First up in the currencies is going to be the pound USD. Now, of course, we've got the pound interest rate decision this week. We've got the US dollars interest rate decision this week. So expect this to be heavily manipulated. Recently, I had a trade around the 133,500 level, executed perfectly. Had a little move, nice little 200 pip move to the downside. It's now kind of heading back towards that level. I'm going to give myself a big range due to the news this week and just kind of monitor where the best position is going to come from. The first thing I'm going to look for is the 133 level. I just want to see how price is going to interact there, see if it's going to struggle. It's around 30 pips away from there now. Then if it goes through that, it will be the 133,500 where there's already been a transaction before, which I know they're definitely playing from this area. So again, I'll be keeping an eye on the 133 to the 133,500. I am favoring the sell due to the trend, due to the way the direction of this market's been going recently. So again, just keep an eye on the 133 to the 133,500. If it lines up with the US dollars interest rate decision timing, then even better. Keep an eye on that one. That's going to be the pound USD. Next up is going to be the pound yen. Again, remember, we've got the pound's interest rate decision and we've got the yen's interest rate decision later on in the week. The first thing I want to talk about is this 149 level here. It's clear to see there's a block there. It's clear to see there's been plenty of buying movement from this area. I do believe that's going to be ending soon. I do believe it's going to wipe this area out. So as I just come down to a smaller time frame, what I want to keep an eye on is around the 151 mark, around the 151 to 151,700. I'm going to give myself a big range. I do believe something can happen here around that 151 level. If that doesn't really play out the way I want it to, then I'm going to switch all focus to the 151,750 to the 152 level. I do believe price will come up to this point, hopefully with the pound's interest rate decision, and then the yen can sit in this area, show us that sign of struggling, and then there can be a push to the downside, wiping out that liquidity around the 149 level. So it's going to be around a 270 pip move. Keep an eye on that one. If it lines up with the fundamentals, execute your position. Keep an eye on that. That's the pound yen. Next up is going to be the EURNZD. This is going to be one of my main focuses for the week. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is this daily picture, how we've kind of come back to a level, hit it, and started to show them signs of struggling, which you may hear me say. So here I am on the 4 hour. I'm looking at the 167 whole number, as that looks like to me the area that's been manipulated. If I just come down another time frame, last week price spent a lot of time struggling underneath here around the 166.800 mark. And now all I'm looking for this week, just to see the euro push into this level, show me that a transaction's being created there, show me that price is struggling to break higher, and then I'm happy to back the New Zealand dollar from that 167 level. And again, I believe it's coming down to at least where the 163.500 mark is. So a nice big trade. Keep an eye on that one. It's going to be the EURNZD. I will be updating this one in the Discord throughout the week. So if you haven't got access to that, reach out to me now so you can. Next up is going to be the USD Swiss franc. And again, it's worth noting that the US dollar's got their interest rate decision and the Swiss franc. So again, we can expect this to have a lot of movement this week. Last week, we started down here around the 91,600 mark, and we've just hovered around, gone up towards the 92,600 mark, 100 pip range. And then we've just kind of hit the 92 level, gone up, and then come and hit the 92 and finished the week right there. So I do believe there's something happening at this 92 whole number. I do believe we're going to get a buy push back towards the 93,400 to the 93,600 at least. So the best thing I'm going to do this week is just watch to see how price holds up in this area. It may dip a little lower to the 91,800, so I'm going to give it a bit of breathing space. But I do believe there's going to be a massive buy push coming very soon from this area. So keep an eye on that one. That's the USD Swiss franc, and it's the 92 level. Next up is going to be the AUDUSD, and I'm going to basically just be monitoring the 72 to the 72,500 mark. I like how price has started to struggle just below the 72. So to start the week, I'm going to see how that develops, see if it stays underneath there. If it starts to grow a little bit, if it starts to push higher, then I'm going to just be watching this area here around the 72,500 mark. And again, looking for the same sort of struggling that you're seeing here. Again, we've got the news, the fundamentals to think about. So if that is happening around the US dollar interest rate decision, I'll be happy to get a position on. So keep an eye on the 72,500. I do believe somewhere around here, we're going to get a sell push to the downside, at least back towards the 70 mark. AUDUSD. Next up is going to be the USD CAD. Now, I'm literally going off of this because of one reason only. I do believe there's a block around the 128 level. So as you can see, when you look on this higher time frame, there's been some nice sell pushes from here already. If I just break it down, again, you can start to see where they came from, how it happened. And it looks like maybe, possibly, we're getting another one again. So if you just look at how this move happened here, when this shot down, eventually all the way to here, it struggled, dropped a little bit, came back and retested, and then dropped. I'm pretty much looking for the same thing to happen. I'm looking to see price come back up, retest this area right here around the 128 level. Let's say 128,300, give it a bit of space to breathe. And that's where I believe if price starts to struggle, then we can look to take a position there. Keep an eye on that one. I've got good hopes for this one. However, I just want to make you aware that you'll hear me say this quite a lot. As you can see, the sells, big sells have happened from this area already. So just try to know that eventually the fun will stop. If I have to change my bias and switch to a buy to ride through to take all the liquidity, it will just be on how the price action is performing throughout the week and how quickly I can make my mind up. So keep an eye on this one. Give it a little bit of breathing space. Let it play out. Let's see which way the direction is going to be heading in. USD CAD. Next up is going to be the USDJPY. Again, this was a trade that I mentioned around 2 weeks ago on one of my videos. It was the 113 level, and it's good to see that price is still holding up. It's still remaining bullish. So the best thing to monitor for this week is just, is price going to hit that 113 mark and stick above it? Basically struggle to break below it. It could come to the 112,800. I'll keep an eye on that candle down there at the very bottom. But it's the 113, the main number. That's going to be the whole number. And I'm looking to just see a buy push from there, at least come back up towards the 115 mark, 115, 200, 400. So a nice 200 pip range to ride to the upside. Keep an eye on that one. If price stays struggling to break the 113 to the 112,800, I'll be happy for the buy push. USDJPY. Next up is going to be the pound CAD. It's going to be very similar to the USD CAD move that I was mentioning. Now, the first thing I want to talk about on this daily time frame is the 170 level. It's quite clear to see there's been some good moves, 170 to the 170-500, and there's been some good sell pushes. So as I come down onto this 4-hour time frame now, the first thing I'm going to monitor next week is the 169.500. I just want to see what happens there. Is price going to struggle? If not, it will be back towards that 170 level. So somewhere in here, I just believe we're going to get a sell push at some point, and then the Canadian dollar is going to gain strength over the pound. So keep an eye on that area, around that 169.500 to the 170 mark. The higher time frame is with us. It's suggesting that there's going to be some sell moves, as there's been already. So keep an eye on that one, pound CAD. Last but not least is going to be the pound NZD. Now, I want to mention that there was a trade that I was looking to execute on this recently. It was the 196 level. I was wiped out, and then price pushed to the downside. If I just come to a 4-hour time frame now, the structure looks better. There's been a break of structure here on the 4-hour. So I feel like I just got in a bit too early, and now I feel like the move is starting to cook. So what I'm going to monitor is I want to see price back towards the 196 level. I just want to see it struggling there for at least a day. Show me that price is struggling to get above it. And then, of course, I'll be happy to take a position there. And I do believe now price is ready to go at least back towards the 191, maybe the 190, which would be a massive trade. So keep an eye on that one. It's going to be the pound NZD.
Okay, that's all from me this week. Again, thanks for watching. If you like that, hit the thumbs up. If you dislike it, hit the thumbs down. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. For anybody watching this that wants to take their trading further, that wants to learn this skill from scratch, you can do that with me as a total beginner or an advanced trader. Whether you've already got an understanding, you can check out my strategy, compare it with yours, see how that works. If you want to take this further, head over to my website, www.capitalatrading.co.uk, and all the information can be found on there. With that being said, I just want to say a quick shout out to my sponsors, the Absolutely magazine, my article on page 95. Check it out. Have a great trading week.
Bye, have a great time.